What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA DFS Wise stream. We got some two-man action on this game by game. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I'm joined by a very special guest. Not only are you getting part two with Paulie D, but we got part one with Paulie D for the game by game breakdown. You can find Paulie on Twitter at Paulie with 8 Ds. Paulie, what's happening?
What's happening is we got the first good tournament for us down here in the cheap seats, $4, 100K up top, 150 max, trying to get it in. You know, we may not get another contest like this all year. So it feels like it's a lot of pressure. Got to do the dirt. And this is a complicated slate, man. This one is deep, real deep.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's a 10-game slate. We haven't had a slate this big in a minute, right? Like, the last time we were supposed to get a 10-game slate, they canceled the Laker game and it became a 9-game slate. I don't know. It might not even been 10 that day. But, yeah, I agree. We haven't, it's been a little while since we've had, this much to go through, this many options. We have value kind of lying around all over the place, whether it's good value that's up for debate, but there's value and just kind of lying around everywhere. So curious to hear your thoughts. As always, we got the projections pulled up from WiseTake.com. This is just a visual that I make to do these shows with you guys. This is not the project. You'll get the actual projections themselves. Just it won't look like this for those of you that are interested. And they do come with your NBA DFS access at WiseTake.com, whether you're NBA season holder, day pass, you can use it for a day. You can download them, upload them into whatever optimizer you use, do the dirty with some WiseTake Nation flavor. With that said, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe. Hit the notifications bell so you're notified whenever we go live. We do this thing Monday through Friday. I know YouTube is on the crazy banning streak. We've been a part of that. So just in case, if you're watching on YouTube, you may want to follow us on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/WiseTake. We stream. We everywhere, man. Periscope, Twitch, we do everything. But in the meantime, we are here rocking on the YouTube world. So if you guys could all subscribe, hit the notifications bell. And everybody, whether you are subscribed already or not, please hit that like button. The likes go a long way, really help us out, allow us to continue to do dirties to neighbors all across the country, all across the world, really. So, hit that like button, guys. We are going to do the first hour game by game. We got a lot of games to get to, so we'll jump right in. Second hour, we'll talk some game theory. We'll talk, obviously, the main point of the second hour of the show is to wait for injury news. Hopefully we get it, discuss how we're going to react. But we got a lot going on. Paulie's going to help me make some adjustments to these projections when need be as far as minutes go. And we're going to do the dirty. Paul, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get it in the end. I ain't being bit.
All
right, bro. First game here, we've got the Golden State Warriors visiting the Washington Wizards. We have a 235 total that's down from 236. The Wizards opened up -4.5. They're up to -6.5. We are still waiting on news here. I know D'Angelo Russell is a game-time decision. And for Washington, they're actually getting like a little bit deeper. Their Hachimura was expected back last game. It didn't happen, but he could be making his return. Mo Wagner could be making his return. They'll both be limited, but it's just going to make things a little more complex. Meanwhile, we have two bad defenses. Washington plays extremely fast. Paulie, we're going to start off with the Golden State side first. I got them pulled up on the screen. Talk to me about the Golden State Warriors.
You know, this is like a strange situation. Unless Russell gets ruled out. If Russell gets ruled out, it's, clears up. But the reason I say it's strange, it's like, you always want things against Washington, but like the way these guys are priced and, the current rotations, there's nothing that like really pops off the page at me. Like, Draymond's been playing great. And I think that could continue here. The price is now up, though, where, like, he's really got to do it. He's got to, like, get that 40. I guess he'd be, like, my favorite in terms of point per dollar. Right? Then, like, D'Angelo is now 9K. Like, he's really got to go for 50 plus. And, we don't even know if he's going to play yet. And if he does play, like, I'm not that interested in Glenn Robinson, Alec Burks. I could get behind some Marquez Chris, but his price is now up. The one guy that's not projecting well for us that, like, I think has tournament appeal is Damian Lee. Has not been playing very well of late, but especially if D'Lo got ruled out, I'd like him a ton, but even with, I just think he's like one of those sneaky guys on the slate in a very good spot that, could go for like 35, 38 kind of randomly. We've seen him go for like 50 on Christmas Day. But otherwise, like, I want to be into this, and I'm really not. Like I said, Draymond, sure, I'll play a little bit of D'Angelo Russell, but, I don't like his price, and I like other studs better. You could do a little Glenn Robinson, but like paying $5K for him doesn't feel good. And as we go through the slate, you'll see a lot of these guys are priced in spots where it's like a little uneasy. I like the way Marquez Chris has been playing, so like I can get some of him, and I just have like a feeling about Damian Lee, so I'm looking to play him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's like they're getting paced up dramatically. They are across the country. I know they're in it's not in a back-to-back or anything like that, but it is a tougher part of the schedule. Anytime you got to travel across the country and stay there for days on end. But I'm with you, man. This is a spot. This is a game that we should want more of. I think the problem comes down to the prices of a lot of these guys. Glenn, and the other thing to keep in mind, one thing that like you had pointed out, you had reminded me earlier, is the trade deadline's approaching. So there's a lot of these dudes that are on the trade market. Every team has somebody that could not maybe just get ruled out, like play half the game, and then you just got traded. So it's something we got to be mindful of. D'Lo is one of those guys. So we'll see what happens. The good news is it's the first game, so we should have his status. But if he's out, that's gonna make like you said, like right now, Damian Lee and Burks, they're not projecting that well. You get rid of a guy like D'Angelo Russell, there's gonna be a lot from this team that we're gonna want. They become significantly worse, so the blowout's on the table. But the good thing is they're playing Washington, so it's like a team that doesn't blow people out. Marquise Chris is like the trickier one. We know Kevon Looney is back off the bench. Like his minutes are so hard to project on a night in night out basis. This is a phenomenal matchup for him, but they elevated his price to a point where it's not like a plug and play. You actually have to like think about this and wait it out. So if D'Lo were to get ruled out, expect a lot of these dudes to start popping. Like right now, there's not a ton because the prices kind of fit what they've been doing, and even the pace. Our projections incorporate pace in it. So this comes down to like I think we're good tight on minutes. It's just a matter of like at this point, I'm kind of hoping D'Lo's out. I mean, it'll raise the ownership, but at the same time, you got a ton of people that would become great plays. Like you said, Damian Lee, who's already probably a fine tournament play, but he would become a pretty him and Burks would become awesome plays. If they were they would have to see like 30 plus minutes, 34, 33, like big time. So I'm with that for sure. Draymond Green would also be somebody that we want to look at, but I'd be more interested in the guards directly. With that said, let's take it over to the Washington side of the ball, Paulie. Again, they're getting a little more crowded. I tried to be a little aggressive with Bryant because he's been playing well, so I projected him for around like 26 and a half minutes. And he's still not popping. He's still not quite there. But I just want to do it so bad, but they're just telling us like, to be careful, like Hachimura might be back now. But what's his name? Fucking what the hell? Mo Wags. What are you doing with Washington?
Again, I'm supposed to like stuff here, and like, Brad Beal, I do like. I'm not really scared of that price tag in this matchup. He's just been playing super well, and I don't really see a path to him not like pushing 5x. I mean, you just look at his fucking results, and his worst case scenario is 5x, and like he could push into the 6.5s depending how well he does. He's gone for 30 just raw points in like 8 straight games, and I do feel comfortable with him. Thomas Bryant is probably my next favorite. Thomas Bryant would be my next favorite. I'm definitely concerned with those bigs coming back, like what his minutes are going to be. We've seen them let him roll out to like 32 once in a game that was kind of back and forth. And we had then we saw him drop down to 23. Then we saw him only play 25 after a day of rest. Like now we got bodies back. So it's risky, but centers have been doing really well against Golden State. I'm into him. I'm going to have some, but it's hard to really commit to a lot of Thomas Bryant right now with, other bodies coming back that could just cut into his minutes, or the fact that they're not really ready to play him a ton and his price is a little elevated because he has been doing well. After that, I don't know. I don't see a ton to like fall in love with. It's, like with Hatch and Mo Wagner coming back, they're kind of going to cut into everyone just a little bit, and it's rough.
I
About
will
it.
say this: Davis Bertans is a game time decision. I forgot to mention that he's a game time decision. If he were to get ruled out, would that sway you in any way? I mean, he's playing multiple positions, and but would that make you like any one of these guys more?
It'd probably make me feel a tad better about Bryant, but it's like I really don't think like one or both being available is going to affect him that much more. I just think those guys won't play very much because their first game's back. But just the fact that one or two of them are going to cumulatively play like 20 minutes, right? I don't think they'll both play that much. So it's just like minimal, you know what I mean? But if both got ruled out, that'd be good.
Well, yeah, I mean, not even for Bryant, but like for like Troy Brown or one of these other, secondary guys that are like right on the cusp, like they're not projecting well because they don't have the minutes projected. But if Troy Brown, we got Bertans at like 28 and a half or so minutes, 28 minutes, and he's been playing around that. Like I was reluctant to give him too much because we are getting guys back that could interfere in some way. But if Bertans were to get ruled out, I think at least Troy Brown, the second unit, I would imagine he would have a higher usage rate in that role. Because remember, McRae is also gone. That's a big part of the shot. So at that point, Troy Brown's going to have to shoot more. And on top of that, you know what? Just from a usage standpoint, that probably helps Bryant out. Because at least Bryant, when he is on the court, assuming he's not starting, assuming they're going to bring him off the bench again, now it's just Troy Brown and Bryant show with Ish Smith distributing the ball. So I think it could help him. I just don't know how much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it could help. I don't know how much. Because the prices are now at a point where it's not a guarantee. Like 5.8 for Thomas Bryant, he's been going for like 33 exactly. It's like on a slate like this, 10 games, you want something with a higher ceiling. So I get the concerns, but I do think if Bertans were to miss, I would elevate Brown's minutes significantly, and I think I would feel a little more confident to raise Bryant a little more, and not even about the minutes, more so about what he's going to do when he's on the court, how big his usage rate is when he's actually on the court. As far as Beal goes, obviously it's going to be a conscious effort to play him because he's so expensive. We got him just for 38 minutes. I mean, we can go for 40 if you want, but I will say this: since Bryant's been on the second unit, he's had to be more aggressive on the first. They don't have it. Think about who Beal's surrounded with when he starts. You got Mahinmi at center, Bonga, all the, you know what I'm saying? So like they're just letting Beal do the dirty. So if we get that same starting lineup, I'll like Beal even more. I'm assuming that's what it is, so I kind of already like Beal. He's a guy that I want some exposure of for sure. But again, it's a deep slate, and there's just plays everywhere, including at his position. There's a few of them at shooting guard. There's a few of them that are just like, but he's definitely a great tournament play today, for sure.
Do you prefer him over D'Angelo Russell?
That's a great question. I don't think so. Only because like D'Lo's cheaper, and those are the guys that are getting the boost in pace. You know what I mean? So like, but in my head, I have this feeling. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna rule D'Lo out. So I've been like ignoring that question all day because that's been a debate of mine. Be ready, because obviously if there's no D'Lo, then yeah, it's Beal. It's easy, But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, because bro, he's gonna not play, and then that's gonna open up like Damian Lee and Burks for value and allow me to get Beal, no problem. Like in my head, I got it like that, but it's not official, so I can't say it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
30s and 7s and stuff. Let's talk about some embarrassing stuff. Let's talk about our New York Knicks. Who are in the next game. We are Knicks fans, so we can say it loud and proud. We've got a 216 total here between the Knicks and the Cavaliers. Knicks are on the road. The Knicks are actually 2.5-point underdogs against the Cavaliers. We heard that Randall's probable. We heard that Marcus Morris is going to play. He's been sick. Elfrid Payton back from his 1-game suspension. Dennis Smith Jr. is terrible. That has nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to just state that right quick. With that said, Paulie, talk to me about the Knicks first, bro.
I want to like this game, Unfortunately, the Knicks don't really play very fast. So, this game, even though there's not going to be much defense played, it probably doesn't have, too much in terms of like ceiling of like a final score. And everyone's kind of priced up that you'd be looking at, right? Julius Randle's the obvious guy you want, from the Knicks, but he's 8'5", like maybe if Marcus Morris was ruled out, I've been into that. Even Elf at 65, like I think you could take a shot on that, but you know, there's no like incentive for him to get that much more minutes than usual, and like he's gone over 30, over 40 once, and it was his last game against Memphis, which is the nut spot. This is pretty close to that. Like I could see myself getting like 15% of Elf, and like I like the idea of pairing him with someone because he's such a high assist guy, but I don't see it. Marcus Morris with Randall playing. There's not much I like from the Knicks side, to be honest. Like, I could justify a couple pieces of Mitch Robinson, a couple pieces of Elf, and I think that's as far as I go.
It's tough. This is another one. Like, this is a game where if you're getting some of this game, like, you're consciously doing that. You're going out of your way to overpay for these guys in a matchup against Cleveland. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad idea for tournaments. It's not, because this game will be low owned AF, as the kids say. Right? And you got two terrible, like the Knicks show up as a decent defensive team. I think that's mostly due to their pace. Because if you actually look at the players, not one of these do. I think Elf was like did he win Defensive Player of the Year in high school? And I was there, or something like that. It was something crazy, I remember. And then after that, ever since he went to Orlando, it was just trash city. We see point guards just trash him. But
Mitch Robinson's like the only good.
Right, and when he tries to play real defense, he 5-6 fouls. It's it. So it's, don't get me wrong. I think Mitch Robinson is also my favorite. If I have to pick one, if I had to go with a Nick, he'd be the one to be the most likely to go because of how bad Cleveland's been against centers. But yeah, I mean, listen, on FanDuel, Julius Randle I think is a lot more reachable at 7-7. I'm a little more comfortable with that. But that's really it as far as the whole game goes. It's like on DraftKings. Again, I don't mind these guys. Elfrid Payton can go for 40. We know he's got that kind of upside. He's going to be pissed coming back from a suspension. He's got a great matchup. It's just hard to pay 6.5 for him or 6.4 for him when you know there are so many other players that are cheaper than him that are in just as good of a spot or whatever the case may be. So I'm with you. It's like, I'm okay with this. Like, if somebody said you're on second in Knicks game, I'd be like, damn, man, it's low as hell. Like you know what I mean? Like, that's all. I wouldn't say no. I would just be like, it's low as hell. And they'd be like, are you going to do it? I would say probably not. I don't think so. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. That's how I would treat it. That's how I would treat it. But anyway, let's go on to. I mean, I know both of us were just like hoping and praying that even a chalk, I don't care. That was a lock button situation. If Bobby Portis would have been a thing. If Randall was out, it would have been on. Now, if Randall was out, I got a few of these guys. I would go to Elf. I would go to Marcus Morris.
Yeah,
I would lock button Bobby Portis.
Mitch,
let's do it. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And yep, there we go. Official. Hachimura and Mo Wagner are gonna play. They're gonna both have minutes limits, but they are gonna play. So PayPal me the plays today, as a buddy of ours used to say. Hit that like button if you guys haven't already. Welcome to the WiseTake Nation. For those of you who are new, make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and don't forget to follow us on all the social media platforms you see on the screen, including Twitch, twitch.tv/WiseTake, because you never know when YouTube acting funny. YouTube acts funny sometimes. So we ain't with that funny shit. All right, let's go to the Cleveland side of the ball. Paulie D, anybody on the Cleveland side that you're interested in?
Yeah, I think the industry likes Kevin Love. I don't blame them at 71. His minutes have not been great lately. I don't know, I don't know what to make of Kevin Love. Like, we kind of put together they were going to audition him for a trade, and he balled out once or twice, and then it's just been ugliness and decline of minutes and hot starts and freezing cold finishes, and really just, if you never played Kevin Love for the last 2 weeks, you wouldn't have missed a thing. So he's all right. They're tempting you, but sometimes guys are priced down for a reason. I'm just all right with him. The guys I like are Tristan Thompson, Colin Sexton, and Kevin Porter. And you could even, sell me on Larry Nance, who we know has a 40-point ceiling when he gets the minutes. No real reason for him to get the minutes, but they seem to be playing him a bit more than they were. Colin Sexton's getting this big usage and doing pretty well with it. He's just very scoring dependent, and his price is up now. Kevin Porter is probably the same thing, but he's, $2,000 cheaper. So he'd probably be my favorite. And then Tristan Thompson's price is beyond, too cheap. It's what is going on here? And, I'm I'm cool getting some Tristan Thompson at 5,300. So Thompson and Porter probably my favorites, followed by Sexton, Love, and a little bit of Nance. But like none of them will have more than like 20% off.
Yeah, I mean, I get the Kevin Love, if you will. We got, like, but that position is already kind of competitive. You've got LaMarcus Aldridge at a similar price, maybe a little cheaper against the Clippers. You've got Kristaps Porzingis. So I'm curious to see what the ownership of these guys come in because they're all priced very similarly. I'm cool with Love. He's really the only person from this game that I may actually end up with. Thompson, I agree, is in a phenomenal spot. I don't think I get that today because it's been too risky as far as the minutes. But last time, I mean, he played 35 minutes against the Knicks. Last time he saw him, I think he went for like 40. He destroyed him. I'm not really sure. I mean, they're obviously playing Nance more, and I've heard reports that they want Nance to be more aggressive, all these things. I can never project Nance to go for 40 if I'm projecting him for 26 minutes a game. It's not going to happen because this is something that he's been more aggressive recently. So that always puts me in like a tough predicament, but it's a 10-game slate. I just don't think, hopefully I don't need that. But I don't mind it if you want to work him in, especially if you're building hand-built teams. It's a lot easier to get him in there, obviously. But yeah, Kevin Love, I mean, look, Sexton's been playing great. I'm fine with him. There's just better plays, I think, and he doesn't grade out too hot for me. But Kevin Love is probably the one that grades out the best for me here. It's a shame with Tristan Thompson, man. The price has gotten so low, but they're trying. I don't know if it's a combination of him not playing well or they're phasing him out, and that's why he's not playing well. But they're phasing him out, and it's dirty. It's dirty. If you're going to phase him out for real and play Lance 30 minutes like a man. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Let's go to the next game. We got the Orlando Magic and the Charlotte Hornets because we just love good games like this. That's a back-to-back from hell right there, huh? New York, Cleveland, and then you go on to Orlando and Charlotte. What do we got here? All right, here we go. So this game's got the lowest total on the board by far. We have a 202.5 total due to the crawling pace that both these teams play. The Orlando Magic are 5-point favorites on the road. I'm going to kick it to you, Paulie, to talk to us about the Orlando side first while I pull up some schedule action. I forgot to pull up schedule notes. Shout out to Jay Irv, who writes a free article for us at WiseTake.com. The schedule notes, I recommend you guys take a look at that every day before you even start your research so that you know who's in a back-to-back, who's on a 3 and 4, 4 and 6, who's rested, all that good shit. It helps. Paulie, take it away.
Yep. As you mentioned, lowest total on the board. Not a ton that I'm really trying to get into, but there is a few things like Evan Fournier's status on the Orlando side could open up some options, right? Like if he's in, then, there's not a ton that I'm really into, right? If he's out, then all of a sudden I'm into like a lot. So we'll see how that plays out, but it's a good spot for Vooch. I don't think I'll get much. I just like other guys at the position better, and he feels a little expensive. Markelle Fultz seems a little, underpriced, but with 28 back, the usage does take a dip. I like where Terrence Ross's price is. He has not shot well and still kind of outperformed this price. And, if Fournier gets ruled out, he would get the usage boost and the minutes boost. That would probably make him a pretty solid play today. Michael Carter Williams, believe it or not, is probably my favorite play. Just too cheap and likely to see around that 20-minute mark. He's played 21, 22, and 23 in their last 3 games. And 6X are bettered in, 2 of those 3. So, not a guy that most people around the industry are going to be talking about, but I do like him. In like respect to this game, in terms of the whole slate, I don't think I end up with that much. But since we're talking about this team, he's probably my favorite play.
I agree with everything, man. I think like we have some good centers on the slate, so it's a great matchup for Vooch, like you said. It's just like a price and pace issue. On FanDuel, he's 8.6, a little better, but 8.8 on DraftKings, it's tough. His ownership would be low, so there's always that. Now, exactly what you said. Right now, everybody's kind of on the outside looking in for me. Michael Carter Williams, I agree, is an interesting value play on DraftKings at 3,700. Just for ownership pivots, there's going to be guys like Bruce Brown who are really popular, and they're interesting pivots to take, especially when you're competing against 150,000 people and you're trying to get different. So he's got upside at that price. If Fournier gets ruled out, that's when we start seeing these dudes pop. That's when Aaron Gordon's usage goes up, Vooch goes up in a great matchup, and like you said, Markelle Fultz. I think would be a little more secure in playing bigger minutes. So this is another one where we're just waiting for injury news on Fournier. For the time being, it's a 10-game slate. It's hard for me to envision getting too much exposure to the game with the slowest pace and lowest total on the board. But I agree. As of right now, the only one who is maybe within reach for me is probably Michael Carter-Williams. But again, Fournier gets out, that could change everything. Paulie, let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets, who we just heard PJ Washington is officially ruled out. So there should be some value here to consider, or something here. Again, terrible game, but Paulie, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit. Where to start? So, my favorite play is Cody Zeller. Vucevic, not really a great defender, and with no PJ Washington, I think that locks him into, say, 26 to 32 minutes, and he's a pretty solid point per minute player in a decent matchup with two not very good shooting teams, so the rebound should be aplenty, and he had usage in the 20s to 25s, so you're getting the minutes increase, you're getting the usage increase.
Ooh, we just got some news, Paulie. D'Lo ruled out. D'Lo ruled out.
Yep.
Time to get you some Golden State. We'll revisit this later on. We'll go through the games and then we'll revisit it at the end. We have another hour to bullshit, so let's do the dirty. Continue. Ken Burch just got ruled out too while we're on the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Means pretty much nothing to me. Yeah. So I like Cody Zeller. I also think, Willie Hernan-Gomez is worth a look. Maybe Orlando blows them out. He gets a little additional run. He's been getting about 18 to 20 minutes. He is a high point per minute player, especially if it's, blowout run. Then Miles Bridges has just seen massive minutes. 37, 34 since PJ has missed. Kind of feel like we maybe under projected his minutes, and he's probably going to project pretty well now that PJ Washington is officially out. Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham, they really have not been playing very well. Their prices are a little bit down, so they're not bad. I'd say you run this slate 100 times, maybe 10% of the time, one of those two is in an optimal lineup, especially against Orlando. So, I don't mind those guys. Some people are talking about Marvin Williams for value. He is 3-3 and should, with PJ Washington out, see around 20 minutes. He did nothing with it against San Antonio, but I think he's worth getting a piece of. His range of outcomes is a 7 through a 30. And if you get that 30, you'd be pumped. So, he's worth getting some, but there's better value plays on the slate. Malik Monk is popping. I don't exactly know why. I know he played a bunch of minutes in that blowout against San Antonio. I would say he probably, gets more around 26. In which case he's not popping as much. I love Malik Monk. When he's hot, he can really do the dirt. So you can get 5% of him. But I don't see much here outside of Cody Zeller that I'll have more than 10% of.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. There's really not a lot. I think Zeller is a fine play. I agree.
Miles Bridges, I think I'll have.
Yeah. So I got Bridges projected we got him for 36 minutes. The main difference is his usage the last two games have been really high. So he did play 37 in that last one. So if we really wanted to kind of just do a max projection, we can give him another minute. But again, someone just to monitor. On FanDuel, he's 5-3. So I don't think it's that hard to get him in on DraftKings. Let's see what happens. I'll change it now and see if it helps. Again, it's not that I expect him to play a full 37. It's more to incorporate the fact that his usage has been a little higher with PJ out.
Yeah, I had him at 30 minutes from what I uploaded minute-wise.
That was minutes. That's the minutes per game tab. Is that what you're talking about?
Projected minutes 30.75.
Oh, yeah. Those are the Optos minutes. Those aren't mine. Those don't update.
Oh yeah, I don't have that. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Exactly. So. Holla how to play when you see him in the streets. I'm with it. I'm waiting for this update to come through. I just gave Bridges an extra minute to see if that helps. Again, on FanDuel, that makes it it's gonna help. And again, we're not looking for this guy to be the best play on the slate. We're just looking to like if you're using an optimizer, you want to get some type of situation. So we'll see if that helps on DraftKings if this thing ever wants to cooperate. Man, this thing is dirty slow, man. There's too much going on right now. Too much going on. Man, the D'Lo situation is big. I'm gonna have to go in and make some updates to that one. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm with you though. It's really Bridges. I'm not that interested in Grant. I think it's Rozier's kind of sneaky. He's been playing well. The price has come down. It doesn't really make sense. He's playing good, but his price came down. Graham's the one that's been sucking ass. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, Bridges is probably the only one that I end up getting to. Guard is fairly deep today. For sure.
Yeah.
Let's go over to the next game. Oh, did it update? Yeah, it did. So now we got 30.67, 5.3x on FanDuel, basically 7x. FanDuel. For sure. Next game, we've got the Dallas Mavericks and the Indiana Pacers. To pull up because that's what we do.
Yeah, this is one of the tougher spots on the slate.
Yeah, I know. We got to go through these minutes and make some justifications. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, so we've got a 212.5 total, which is not the highest, not the lowest. It sounds good compared to the 202 we just talked about. The Pacers are 5-point favorites at home. We're going to start off with the Dallas side. We know that Porzingis is obviously going to play. We expect everyone else to be fine except for Luka. So everyone else should be playing except for Luka. And obviously Dwight Powell, who's gone for the season. Holla. Paulie, start off with the Dallas side. What do you think they're going to do? I mean, there's a lot they could do. We saw JJ Barea started the one game on the back-to-back. They didn't start Barea. Was that because he was old? Because I also read that they started Barea and broke her off, whatever, strictly because of the matchup with Westbrook and Harden. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know why. Like, why wouldn't you want Brunson against Westbrook instead? I don't know. Why would you want the smallest guard on the planet? I don't know. But that's what they say. That's what the beat reporters were saying, that it was more of a spot situation. But they obviously need a spark without Luka, and JJ is a spark for them. Just a matter of gas. But he kind of messes the whole thing up because you can't project Brunson for any good minutes. Now, we do have Seth Curry out, so there's some room here somewhere. Talk to me about the Mavericks.
What time does this game start? 7:30?
Yeah. 7. Oh, so we will get that. We'll get that starting lineup.
Which, like, you know, that'll really clear things up. I'm thinking they're going to start Barea. I think they just didn't want to play him on a back-to-back, but they, you know, kind of made their decision to roll with him, you know, when Luka went out. But we'll see, you know. Brunson did really well. His game, you know, his turn. I think they both play, though. They do not have a game tomorrow. So, you know, with Curry being out, I think you could safely play both of them and Delon Wright. And, you know, Kristaps Porzingis is a very good play. Tim Hardaway Jr. has not shot well the first two games with no Luka. Shot terribly, actually. That could turn around in a heartbeat. I did like the usage last game without the Barea. You know, I'm all right with that. I ain't playing no Dorian Finney-Smith at 6-100. It's really going to be Porzingis, Delon Wright, Jalen Brunson, and Barea. And that's it. And, like, if Barea is not starting, I probably don't play much of him either. And that's the extent of my interest.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. This is a situation where we just kind of need the starting lineup because it's going to tell us a lot. If it is Barea, I probably won't do much as far as the guards go because Barea we did see didn't play much in that second half and he looked gassed. So I still be reluctant for him to play significant minutes. It would just be that he's gonna fuck up the minutes for everybody else. Like that would be my takeaway of the situation. And Barea himself, of course, is always worth a shot because he's just a high upside player. But we'll see. The starting lineup should give us more indication of that. I do think DeLon Wright, like you had mentioned, we haven't projected for 28 minutes. That might be a little conservative. We may have some room to bring him up to at least 29 because he's another one that's kind of on the border there. But again, I would feel comfortable with the starting lineup because we did see DeLon Wright and Brunson also sub in and out for each other when they were all together and JJ started that game. So a little reluctant, but I would assume, I know we talked about this earlier, I would assume he would benefit the most. If Brunson starts, I would be interested in Brunson. I don't expect it to be as good as against Atlanta because Porzingis was out. But we do know Brunson actually does have some upside. So even though he's 6K, 5'7", I wouldn't be too scared if I knew for sure he was starting because I would assume that would mean he's closing, and his usage actually is pretty good. So for the most part. With that said, I'm with you. There's really not much else. Hardaway Jr. has been killing me, bro. Like if he would, I don't care that he's been inefficient. What kills me is the fact that he's not playing 35, 36 minutes like I thought he would. He's playing like 32. Like they're not treating him like he's the next guy. They're not treating him like that. So that's my concern.
Mm-hmm.
But he is getting cheaper and cheaper. On FanDuel, I'm always cool. On FanDuel, I don't care. 4,500, go for it. I don't give a fuck. It's fine. On DraftKings, that's where I'm like, I gotta think about it. He's 5'6", so this could be the day. All you gotta do, I'll have some because this could be the day he actually just shoots well. It could be the day, but I'm not gonna go crazy like I have been because it's been hurting long and hard. All right, let's go to the next game, Paulie. Talk to me about the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah. So no TJ Warren, should open up some things. Malcolm Brogdon at 6'3" is definitely one of the, I would say more optimal plays. I would certainly play him in my cash team if I was playing cash today. Justin Holiday seems to be popping, probably going to get to start over, for TJ Warren. Domantas Sabonis, without TJ Warren, should see a bump. Very good spot. Dallas really doesn't have anyone that's going to defend him. So, although his price is up on DraftKings, I know it's significantly cheaper on FanDuel, where I definitely play the shit out of him. But I'm going to play some of him on DraftKings as well. Not really a crazy star-studded slate. We just lost D'Angelo Russell. Raw points may become a thing on this slate. And when he's good, he's getting a double-double. He's pushing 20 rebounds. I think he could go into the 50s and get you like a 5.4, 5.5x, and the raw points really become valuable in this spot against Dallas. So I do like Domantas Sabonis a little bit more as we get closer to lock here. Jeremy Lamb, Doug McDermott, Miles Turner, they're all all right, but probably I don't end up playing much of them. It's Brogdon, Justin Holiday, and Domantas that I love, that I have serious interest in.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's Brogdon is just still this cheap. I mean, he's playing 33 or more. Overtime game, he played more, but he still played 33 in that last game. I don't get it. They're playing Dallas. We saw, we've seen Westbrook and Harden. They were fine against Dallas in this situation, right? So I'm not really worried about matchup. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna play the shit out of him. I mean, what else can I say? We got him at 32 minutes. It might even be 31 and a half. I'll double check that, but still probably more conservative for a close game if you think this game's close. So I like Brogdon, one of my favorite plays on the slate. Justin Holiday projects well. I don't know how much of him I actually get to because I don't know if I need him. At his position, we have other players, so I'm not sure. Miles Turner was the most interesting to me because when I was looking at TJ Warren, obviously TJ Warren is out. I forgot to mention that. But with TJ Warren out, he was the one. It wasn't a huge sample. It was like 111 minutes, but he was the one that actually benefited the most as far as usage goes. So we know the game with him. He is what he is. But Dallas with Porzingis there, they are a big team, kind of. They have tall players. Not that they're like a dominant big team, but they got Maxi Kleber, they got Porzingis, they got Willie Cauley-Stein, they got some guys. But they're not good. They're not stopping you from doing anything down low. They're not scoring on you with their bigs down low. It ain't like they're just literally big. So maybe that's an excuse for these guys to actually play Turner 30 minutes. I don't know. But we'll see. I would imagine Doug McDermott would also pick up some minutes. I'm not terribly interested in him either. But yeah, Brogdon is probably my favorite play one of my favorite plays on the slate. Holla. Let's go on to the next one. We've got the Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat. This thing right here. Philadelphia Sixers, Miami Heat. We have a 212 total because that's just life. The Heat are 2.5 point home favorites. They were 3.5 point home favorites. We know that Kendrick Nunn is expected to play, but he's going to be. He was on a minutes limit last time he came back, but he was on a minutes limit. He only played 17 minutes, so we can talk about Miami. We'll talk about that. In the meantime, Embiid didn't play very much in that last game. He was 1 for 11, just had the worst game of his life, but he did play big minutes before that. On the Sixers, I don't think there's anybody out of the ordinary aside from Josh Richardson that we're missing here. Talk to me about the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah. I just think you can play Embiid whenever, especially at the price tag of 9.2. And this is like one of those games where like it's not gonna have a big total or project well, but it could be close. It could go to overtime. This could be a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm definitely think that Philly's headed there. It'd be a little surprised to see Miami there, but we'll see. We'll see how this trade deadline shakes out. I do think they're one of the tougher teams in all the NBA actually, and I think you want to have some exposure here. Ben Simmons, really a tough matchup for all of them. There's a little narrative with this being where Butler ended up. He was on this team last year. But that's probably it. I don't. I guess I could see Al Horford playing well. He probably has the best matchup with like Myers Leonard trying to guard him. The price tag is low. Not really into Tobias, like once every like 40 times he burns you and goes for like 50 out of nowhere here. But it's Embiid and Simmons. I don't really have much interest in any of the value plays. I don't think Shake Milton goes for 45 DraftKings points again. It's Embiid and Ben Simmons that I'll have, little bits of. Maybe Embiid I do get to like 20% of. The numbers don't say it, but I don't, it doesn't really matter. You're going to get Embiid very low owned, and that's just kind of like worthwhile to have some.
I agree. I do like Embiid. I will have some Embiid. I think Tobias would be the next guy I'd be interested in just because his price is starting to creep down. I know that with everybody healthy, not everybody, but with Horford back, because Josh Richardson is still out, that he's, not as desirable, but he's one of the players that have been like in minutes. He's probably second. He's got to be second in like minutes played behind Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is playing a ton of minutes. So every day you have a player that's going to play up to 40 minutes a day. Like you have to at least be conscious of what you're doing with him. Right now, we're not getting a ton. I don't even mind the matchup. It's more about how other studs, other guys that are priced better. This game in general, it does have a slower pace to it. It does have some defense, all that boring shit. Miami's been playing real slow lately. But it's also like a playoff preview type game that should be a pretty good atmosphere. Should be close, and we've seen, players do well even in these kind of pace games because of the atmosphere. But it's really Embiid then Tobias for me. I don't mind Al Horford, but I like Tobias and Embiid better. Simmons would be my clear third. But I don't know. I think Embiid is probably the one I get the most of, I think, at this point. Let's go over to the Miami side, Paulie. Talk to me about the Miami Heat.
Yeah, another like side that's hard to get excited about. We're gonna get some games that things are popping. I have some interest in Duncan Robinson. Like, he's just a guy that can hit 6, 7 threes. He takes a lot of them. Almost always close to 10 or more, and he's a very good shooter. They run sets to get him those open threes, and knowing if he misses that, Bam or Jimmy's going to pick up the trash. At 4-4, when he has those 6, 7 point, hit 6, 7 threes with like a couple assists, a block or a steal here and there, like he goes for 30 plus, 30, 33, something like that. That might be like huge on a slate like this where like, the pricing is real tight. So I do have interest in him. Jimmy Butler at 8-1 feels underpriced. Anytime he's going to be motivated, like, he kind of takes over. Other games he kind of like sits back, lets like Kendrick Nunn do his thing, yada yada. Kendrick Nunn's price is super attractive, but I'd actually be more inclined to play Goran Dragic, like another like veteran kind of reasoning there. Derek Jones Jr., I do expect to kind of see minutes. I think they'll throw him on Ben Simmons. They just been, spy covering teams' best scorers with him a lot this year. And, I just envision them at least trying that out so that they know in the playoffs if that can work out or not. He's cheap at 38. When he gets a lot of minutes, he does have like high ceilings when it all kind of comes together. Blocks shots, gets a ton of rebounds, tip-ins, whatnot. I guess the same thing I said about Duncan Robinson, you could say about Tyler Hero, although he's a little bit more expensive and not as good of a 3-point threat. So you could sprinkle those guys in. The only guys like I'm really going to get any interest exposure to is Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, and like a little bit of Dragic, Bam, and Derek Jones.
Oh, we are getting news all over the place. So we've got Aaron Holiday will start for TJ Warren. I didn't expect that. Jacob Evans will start for D'Angelo Russell. Jacob Evans, not Burks, but Jacob Evans.
Okay.
Will be starting at point guard. We've got Jeff Teague is going to start alongside Trae Young. They're going to move Huerter to the three, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got some interesting things to process in the meantime. As far as the Miami Heat go, Butler's certainly a top option. I'll get some of him as well. We have Dinwiddie at the same, like at the shooting guard position. On FanDuel, he's like 7. Dinwiddie's 7-1. We'll talk about him in a second. On DraftKings, they're the same price, so I have a tendency to lean towards him and what total wise looks like a better game. And also the usage for him is just going to be massive with no Kyrie. So I'm cool with buckets, but I'll probably have a little bit more Dinwiddie than him. Goran Dragic is one of the sneakier ones that I like. He's been getting like low-key 30, 31, 32 minutes. And Kendrick Nunn only played 17. He's nursing a groin injury. I don't think he plays too much. Maybe he plays 22, 23. But I think that they're going to want Dragic's presence on the court, being that he's a veteran, playing a good team like this, a Philly team that's really good defensively as well. So he would be my next one that's kind of sneaky. I don't mind Bam just because I know he's going to play a lot. But it's really just Butler and Dragic is my main two. I don't mind Duncan Robinson either, just because the dude plays big minutes and just shoots threes all day. It's a pretty sick life that he's got. So interesting things to process. Real quick, I'm going to remind everybody, if you haven't already hit that like button, please do, yo. The likes help us out, go a long way. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash the likes, help us out. Also, before we get into the next game, just thought this would be a good time to let you guys know, anybody who enjoys football, DFS, football, fantasy football, all that goodness, it is not over because we are doing XFL content. That's right. Me and your boy Paulie doing some XFL content. I'll be writing a game-by-game breakdown for the main slates. Paulie will give his GPP breakdowns, and we're going to be doing a show for it, a Wise stream once a week for it. So go check us out at WiseTake.com if you're looking to get down on that. And at the very least, make sure you subscribe. One more reason to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out when we do the shows. You know what I mean? Do. All right, next game we've got the Boston Celtics. Oh no, I'm sorry, I skipped one. The Phoenix Suns and the Brooklyn Nets. I would have been pissed if I skipped this one. Let's pull it up. One of the better games, at least on paper. We've got the Suns. I know the Suns are on a back-to-back. I think it's a 4-6 too. You know? Yeah, back-to-back 3 and 4, not a 4 and 6. Back-to-back 3 and 4. Brooklyn's had a day off, but it is actually a 4 and 6 for them. The stretch itself. With that said, we've got a 224.5 total, actually down 3 points from 227.5. And the Nets are 2.5 point favorites at home. Paulie, talk to me about the Suns. Ricky Rubio, we know, is expected to play after missing yesterday. Sarge again out. They're thin at the bigs, right? It's Aiden and Diallo, the only big guys they got. What do you got here on the Suns side?
So I do like this game. Nets shorthanded. Suns play their guys big minutes. And, it's kind of like, who you want to go to, right? Like Rubio, Ayton, Booker, Oubre, and you want to take a shot on somebody, that'd be check Diallo off the bench, who's, getting minutes with Dario Saric hurt. And if you need anything else, you can play that bum Mikal Bridges, who every, 10, 15 games goes for 25. With Rubio back, it makes it a little cluttered. I would envision this game staying close. So, it's just like I got to get exposures to some. It's like Rubio pairs well with all of them. I guess so does Ayton. I probably don't play too much Booker and Oubre together. I like Ayton a lot. Rubio projects well. I don't know how much I personally like him, but if he does do well, you're going to wish you had him because of his low price tag. Check Diallo at mid price is in an absolute smash spot. I don't know if we can project a ton of minutes for him, but maybe. Devin Booker's been going for 50s on the reg, but Rubio coming back could dip into that. Kelly Oubre's minutes have just been insanely consistent. I like this game. I like all those guys. I don't know if any of them get over 25%. If it would, it'd probably be 18.
Yeah, I agree. I do like Rubio. Obviously, he looks bothered by an injury. He's not playing well at all. He's been cheap for a while on FanDuel and just sucking every day. And he's been bad across the board. But he's cheap enough to where I'm going to have to play. I'm going to have to grab me some. I mean, the matchup is awesome against Brooklyn, whether Dinwiddie's or Kyrie. They've never been good against guards. It is a back-to-back and a 3 and 4 with some travel. They're, kind of across the country going from Milwaukee to here. So being that Ricky Rubio has had a day off, maybe he is a little needed if Booker's legs are a little tired, or if Oubre, who couldn't shoot yesterday, falls into that situation. Speaking of Oubre, I always like Oubre. I'm always fine with him. You're gonna give me a player that's gonna play 38 to 40 minutes a day, and he's gonna be 7-1, 7-2 or less. I'm gonna be interested, especially when he has high usage like this. So my favorites are Ayton number 1. Rubio number 2, then Oubre number 3. I'm good with Booker. It's not that I don't like Booker, and I may even get to some, but obviously with Rubio coming back, and it being the situation that they're in, it's a good matchup. But one of the game stackable games. Like, this is a game where I'm fine. I'm gonna have a lot of exposure to certain players, and if you want to do game stacks, I'm good. You can play all these guys because the prices are low enough, I think, in the matchup. Doing dirties and sevens. Let's talk about the other side. Real quick, one other guy I'll mention. Check Diallo if you really want to get risky for value. Min price on both sites. He's the only big they got left at this point. We saw him play some minutes. Aiden got into foul trouble yesterday, which led to him playing a couple more. I don't think Diallo's going to play a ton. I think if the game is close, they'll probably play Aiden as much as they can, I'm sure. But it is a back-to-back 3 and 4. Maybe they do take it a little easier and decide to play Diallo a little bit more. Just something to consider. Holla at your boy when you see him in the streets. Talk to me about the Brooklyn side with no Kyrie.
Yeah. The Brooklyn side is super attractive. Like, besides Spencer Dinwiddie, the whole team's under 5K and Jared Allen. Spencer Dinwiddie is just a phenomenal play, getting Ricky Rubio D with massive usage in a game that should stay close. Then it's like, what do the Nets do? Do we finally get the Karis LeVert minutes increase where they play him into the 30s and he balls out? Karis LeVert is super talented. He just can't ever stay healthy. And, he carried them, deep into a playoff series against Philly last year. And I forget who they beat in the first round, but they weren't supposed to. They were underdogs. And, Karis LeVert did the dirty. And, he's really talented. Best free throw shooter on the team. I want it to happen so badly. What are they projecting his ownership to be today, by the way, LeVert? Just curious. But on top of that, like, Torian Prince is cheap. DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, Wilson Chandler, Garrett Temple. I like them all. I think it's a great game to stack. I think the Nets are just, super, solid plays all around. You should probably get 1 or 2 of them in cash. Like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, LeVert, I don't think he'll be very popular just because we have so much value. And he's 4-7 on DraftKings. He's 4-1 on FanDuel. Again, I gave him 26 minutes, knowing damn well he may not play 26 minutes. But number one, I expect his usage on the second unit, assuming he doesn't start, I expect his usage to be massive as the second go-to option, like the second guy to run the team. So I think maybe he plays more. The one time he did play 20 minutes was when Kyrie was out. So he did that, and then Kyrie missed another game, and he still only played 23. So you really can't say what he's going to do. Only the coach knows. So I like him as a value play. I'm reluctant to project him for anything too crazy because it's just he hasn't been. But his usage is going to go up dramatically. I probably will raise his minutes from here to be complete. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it right now. Just because, like, again, even if he gets 23, this is going to be 23 with usage even higher because he's been playing with Dinwiddie on the court lately, and I'm sure he'll play some with Dinwiddie on the court, but he's going to get some time with him off the court, and I think that's when we're going to see Karis LeVert really do that dirty. Is he going to play more than the 23? We'll find out, but the usage when he is on the court should be good. His ownership should be low, and that is what it is. I don't mind Torian Prince. I hate the Brooklyn coach is similar to coaches we dislike in that he doesn't like to play guys huge minutes. Dinwiddie is obviously your primary option here. We know his usage is massive, like in the 30s, like high 30s it was when Kyrie was out there on that stretch, just massive for Dinwiddie. So I agree. Game stackable game. Garrett Temple for value. I like other value plays better, but he's there. It's a good, really, really good matchup for Jared Allen. They just don't play him like when DeAndre Jordan is healthy. They don't play him the minutes you would like. But it's a really good matchup for Jared Allen. We don't have him projected that well because his price on DraftKings is 6-7. It's gotten up. We have other plays. But definitely one of the better games on the slate. Let's go on to the next. We've got Boston and Atlanta. Let's see here. Bostonian. Wait, Boston's the road team? Yeah, okay. Boston's the road team.
Yeah.
Holla. We've got a 230.5 total, which for Boston is obviously massive. That is the Atlanta Hawks effect. Celtics are 5-point favorites on the road, down from -6. Obviously, they're without Kemba Walker. They're without Marcus Smart. This one was tough, man. This is one of the harder ones to project. With what Boston's going to do with these like younger, cheaper players that people don't really know. Talk to me about the Boston side.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really nice to get a lineup. But even that might not even help because we could probably predict the starting lineup. But it's like what's going to happen behind that is really the mystery, the value here. Like, I'll say, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Gordon Hayward are all very good plays, mainly because of their opponent and the usage bump. Like, their prices are not that great. But that's going to make them low owned and worth getting a little bit of exposure to. Anyone against Atlanta, you just want to get exposure to anyway. Enes Kanter being back, I don't know how many minutes we can, project him for, but I would say around 20, which means he can go for 30. And at 4-3 on DraftKings, you would be pretty happy with that. Especially this is like a super good matchup for him. And then it just gets tricky. Like with Kanter back, I don't know if Grant Williams sees like the run he has been. I think it's the guards that are going to get like the additional run today. You got Javonte Green, Carson Edwards, Tremont Waters, Brad Wanamaker probably going to get the start. He's all right. I kind of hope that he's the industry chalk and I'll be underweight on him. He's just not very high point per dollar type player or point per minute type player. Javonte Green's the one I've seen the most from. He's min-priced. They're all min-priced except Wanamaker's 3.6. Carson Edwards has balled out when he's gotten time, but there's been opportunities for him to get time recently. He hasn't. There's certain things where, like, if they get X amount of minutes and they can't play in the G League and yada yada, like, Javonte Green's the one I would say, like, has played the most recently, and I would expect, or say there's the highest probability to do well. We'll keep our ears open to see if anything comes out between now and lock, so we can kind of adjust. But I'm looking at Tatum, Brown, and Hayward as 15 to 20% plays. Kanter as well, because we just know what the ceiling is. Yeah, and Javonte Green is the value play I'm most interested in.
Yeah, man, it's tough. You feel like they're going to play. I mean, Wanamaker's the obvious one in terms of ownership. I think that's the one people are going to, be most likely to take a shot with because they know him as a familiar name. His usage is just terrible. They are missing Marcus Smart, so maybe he plays more of a point guard role. I'm inclined to believe that Gordon Hayward and Tatum are just going to run this and Jaylen Brown are just going to run this offense like they're being paced up too. On FanDuel, I like Hayward, Brown, and Tatum. I like Hayward and Brown a lot. On DraftKings, I actually prefer Tatum. Everything to do with price. But those three players are going to be paced up like crazy. The usage rates are going to be through the roof. On DraftKings, it's interesting because they're making you overpay. Like, you have to go out of your way to overpay for these guys. But again, they're being paced up. It's a good situation for it to happen. So on FanDuel, I would be playing a ton of Celtics. On DraftKings, it's going to be a little harder to reach them. But the usage rates are phenomenal for these guys. On DraftKings, I'd be more likely to take a shot on Kanter if I were going to take a shot. As far as the guards, man, like I'm just hoping we don't need. I mean, I don't know. We got a lot of things going on, so I don't know if I end up with too many of any of these dudes. But it's really the main guys: Tatum, Hayward, Brown, a little bit of Kanter for value if you wanted to, and then Brad Wanamaker would be the only value one that I may end up with, and that's assuming he starts. He may not even start. But we're going to see two players start that don't normally start because they're missing Smart and Kemba. I'll let it play when you see him in the streets. Very good game to stack. And again, our DraftKings going to be very low owned. Let's go over to the Atlanta side. Paulie D. We know that they're pretty thin. They're missing DeAndre Hunter, no Bruno Fernando, no Alex Len, no Jabari Parker, no DeAndre Bembry, no Chandler Parsons. They got nobody, man. Evan Turner's barely finding the court. They got a guy named Charlie Brown. Holla. Jeff Teague, we know, is going to start alongside Trae Young. Trae Young is available to play. Kevin Huerter starting at the 3 today. Damian Jones expected he's been seeing minutes, and we're expecting him to see more. Talk to me about the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm going to play a lot of Trae Young today. They're playing him. I'm just going to kind of ignore the ankle sprain. I heard it wasn't really that serious. I don't expect him to be that popular. The Celtics just lost their best, defensive player. I think this game's going to play really fast. And, he's quietly been the second best player in the NBA DFS-wise besides Dame Lillard over the last month. And, you're going to get this guy at, I don't know. I'm going to guess 15% ownership. If he's projected for more, let me know. We certainly got the value to make him work, and he's got the highest ceiling on the slate right now. So I'm going to be playing him. There's just not a lot on the slate to like. When that happens, I want to go to the guys that can put up the biggest scores, and he's that guy today. Like Kevin Huerter, I think moving to 3 gets him a harder matchup, but he's got 2 facilitators out there. If he's hot from outside, he will exceed his price tag. Jeff Teague, kind of guaranteed to play big minutes at his price, is definitely appealing. This game's nice to game stack, and I like the Atlanta side, those 3 guys for sure. And then John Collins, Boston's terrible against bigs. Damian Jones has been playing well. He's 4-4. They're a little thin. This slate feels too big to really be interested in Damian Jones. I don't think I get into anyone else. You want to take a deep flyer on Vince Carter or a Brandon Goodwin who should get run on the second unit. I'm cool with that. But I like Trae Young a lot. And I'm cool with Kevin Huerter, Jeff Teague, and John Collins as well.
Yeah, man, I don't disagree. I think Atlanta's a great team to get exposure to. Boston hasn't been as slow, and they're missing some of their Marcus Smart is one of their best defenders, especially against the guard position. So the matchup for Trae Young got a whole lot better. Not to mention we've seen shooters do the dirty to Boston. That's who does. So I like Huerter, I like Trae Young, I like Jeff Teague, I like John Collins. I like them all. Collins maybe the least only because I just really like the guards in this spot, but his matchup's phenomenal too. Definitely a game stackable game. I like Atlanta a ton. It looks like I'm gonna end up with a lot of Jeff Teague. Now that he's starting, we had to elevate his minutes, and he's projecting to be one of the top players on the slate at this point. So it's interesting because now we're getting real stars and scrubsy, because you're not just getting value, you're getting a lot of value, but you're also getting some stronger value, right? The value we had before was there, but it wasn't reliable. Now it's starting. As we get deeper, we're getting a little more and more that it's okay, shit, maybe it is time to go stars and scrubsies. With that said, let's go to the next game. We got the Detroit Pistons visiting the Memphis Grizzlies. Unfortunately, this game has an 8 o'clock start. We've got a 223.5 total, which is down from 228.5. Memphis opened up -8. They're up to -9.5. They were on a roll until that last game with no Jaren Jackson. New Orleans, who was also on a roll, beat them up. Obviously, the Pistons are on the back end of a back-to-back after some travel. They played an overtime game yesterday. Reggie Jackson is questionable. Derrick Rose is ruled out. Paulie, talk to me about the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, so we're looking at Bruce Brown being the most popular player on the slate. Regardless of Reggie Jackson. Thank you. Reggie Jackson's status. I think if Jackson's in, you don't want to get too crazy with Brown. If Jackson's out, do the dirty. Svi, supposedly on the trade streets.
Svi just became questionable, by the way, with a hip. Just questionable, but it's a hip injury.
Okay. That's interesting. Great spot for not a great spot for Drummond, but great usage against a fast-paced team, getting paced up, way more possessions. at his price, like he should project very well. After that, I don't really think you want to get too much. If Speed were to get ruled out, then I'd probably add Langston Galloway into the players of interest list. But that's it. Reggie, Bruce, and Drummond. I like all three of them. Really like Reggie coming into the day. A little annoyed with his injury. Kind of hoping he gets ruled out. Then it's just like get down with Bruce Brown and Drum Dog Millionaire, and maybe a little bit of Speed or Langston. That's it, though.
Yeah, I agree, man. If Reggie's in, we like him. This is a great spot for guards. Reggie played 34 minutes in an overtime game yesterday. On the flip side, that's what makes me think maybe he won't play today. He's got a sore back. He's been out for a ton for injury. That was the first time he's played over 30 minutes in a game, and now he's got another game the next day. So I don't know. The issue is that they're really thin. Like they're not in a position to just, they say, hey, just rest the guy. They're missing a ton of people. They're missing half their team, So it's like, specifically with guards, we could see Langston Galloway get more run. I don't know, but if Reggie plays, I like him. I do. I'm a little nervous, but I like him. If Reggie is out, I will play a shit ton of Bruce Brown because he's like the only point guard they have left on the team at that point in a phenomenal spot against Memphis. There are other value plays that have emerged. Bruce Brown was my favorite value play, and I still like him, but there are other value plays that have emerged, so things to keep in mind. But if he would go right back to the top of my list if Reggie Jackson were to get ruled out. Unfortunately, we may not know that until after lock, but I do like Bruce Brown a lot, and if I had to choose whether I wanted to be overweight or underweight now, somebody's like, you gotta make this decision now, aka if you're playing FanDuel, I would still rock with Bruce Brown. I'm fine with that. Svi being out would also help. There's also a certain point when you're like, yo, this game's going to be like a 30-point game, but you'll cross that bridge. You know what? They do got Tim Frazier. So I guess if Reggie were to get ruled out, Tim Frazier's a guy they could play. I mean, they're still missing people. They're still like thin, but they do have him. I'll mention that. So maybe someone to keep an eye on. We've seen Frazier have some decent games in the past. If you thought he was going to get minutes and you wanted to get some low-owned value, maybe. But I do like Bruce Brown. Let's move it over to and Drummond I'm good with also. But like Paulie said, I think it's good pace-wise, all that. But I think the center on the other side I'm a little bit more interested in. Talk to me about the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, so Detroit has been getting their shots blocked a ton of late. I think that was the game the Lakers went to town on them at like 30 blocks as a team. It was Detroit was the opponent. And it wasn't just that game. They don't have many outside shooters. They go to the hoop a lot. And Memphis has had the most blocks in the NBA over the last month or last 2 weeks. I really like Jaren Jackson Jr. Price is down a little bit. I think this is just a great spot for him. Like Joval, who's just been playing good minutes and playing really. This team's just been playing awesome. They're on a roll. They're in the playoff hunt. John Morant's just a freak who, just makes his team better all around. Dylan Brooks is balling this year. You could take a ancillary piece like Jay Crowder, Brandon Clark, who's playing, D'Anthony Melton. Pistons are just god awful. So like, there's blowout run narrative, like not narratives, but game flows that could occur. The game stays close. You're going to want stacks. I like this game. Memphis, one of the fastest teams in basketball, so pacing up the Pistons. Pistons terrible defense. Plus for them, give me a little bit of all this. But Jaren Jackson Jr. I like a lot. And then John Morant, Joe Val, Dylan Brooks, not too far behind.
Yeah, they project pretty well as like a mid-tier game stack. There's a few teams on there that we've talked about, some we haven't talked about, but they project for one of those situations. John Morant, I don't know why his minutes have been so low, but he's obviously got the upside. Jaren Jackson Jr. after being suspended for leading the bench. I mean, it's funny. It's funny that he's the one that got suspended just because he left the bench. But anyway, yeah, I'm fine with him. On DraftKings, 6'1" makes sense. 6'5" on FanDuel is getting a little up there, but on 6'1" on DraftKings, I like it. And honestly, I like the spot anyway, regardless. So I'm good with that. I think Brandon Clark is interesting. I don't like the price. Dylan Brooks has played really well. I know that they're getting a couple bodies back, but they've been relying on him for actual shooting. So I'm fine with him. And Joe Val's my favorite from the bunch just because there's like any team, like Toronto was the same thing when Joe Val was in Toronto. When Joe Val was off the court, they would get smashed by centers. When he was on the court, it wasn't as bad. And I'm not saying Joe Val's some great defender, but he's a big dude. And so because of that, I think they may need Joe Val to stay on the court because if they pull Joe Val off the court, Drummond will eat their food. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, an interesting little game stack situation. Let's go over to the next. We got 2 more games left. Minnesota Timberwolves at the Sacramento Kings. Where we at though? Pull up Minnesota right quick. We've got a 226 total down from 228. The Kings are 1.5-point favorites currently. Paulie, talk to me about Minnesota.
So this is like one of my favorite games of the night. Both these teams like kind of going in opposite directions, but could be going in the same direction very soon. Minnesota is just god awful. I don't know what they're even playing for at this point, but Karl Anthony Towns is a beast and in a phenomenal spot. Their guys are playing good minutes, and this game should play very fast with minimal defense. Robert Covington, supposedly the most likely of anybody in the NBA to get traded, so should see him get as much minutes as possible, trying to get auditioned. Andrew Wiggins has been playing great minutes, playing great basketball. Shabazz Napier is a little expensive, but, don't even mind adding him into a game stack. He triple-doubled, I think, for the first time a few games ago. But Karl Anthony Towns is like the main guy I want to get exposure to. He really hasn't had that smashy game since coming back from injury. We all know it's coming. He averages like 8 3-pointers a game, the most by a center by far. And it could all come together here. Massive rebounding situation, and just ceilings should be coming.
Ceilings should be coming. I love this game. Oh, Tristan Thompson just got ruled out. Holla. Holla, Larry Nance Chalk Night. Let's get it. Larry Nance Chalk Night. Let's get it.
Kevin Love Chalk Night too.
Chalk Night too, yes. Anson Love. You have a preference?
Larry Nance.
Yeah, me too. Okay, I'm with you on the Minnesota side, man. You could see they all project pretty well. Like a lot of these guys in the mid fives, which I'm good with on a slate where there's not a ton of actual plays aside from the easy value we have that do project that high. So I think this is a very highly game stackable game. I love this game for game stacks. Covington, Karl Anthony Towns is my favorite from the team. I'm good with Wiggins. Even Shabazz, I don't want to completely rule out at 6'2". His minutes have looked good. Culver is not getting as much. They've been really giving Shabazz a true fair shot. So I'm good with this game for game stacks. You can see they project well. I expect this to be close. I expect the game to play a little faster because they both terrible defensively either way. So I'm with it. Karl Anthony Towns I do like as a spend up, and I expect his ownership to be kind of low on a 10 gamer. Talk to me about the Sacramento Kings, brah.
All right. De'Aaron Fox, another one of my favorite spend-ups on the slate. The guy's just a baller in a pace-up, non-defensive spot, missing a few pieces. They adjusted, moved Buddy Hield to second unit, kind of increasing his usage. We'll see if Dwayne Dedmon plays, although I'm not even seeing a tag on him anymore, so maybe Reddy is going to play. I don't know. Harry Barnes is really cheap. Bielitsa's price is down. Bielitsa a little revenge. Don't think he really cares. Bojan Bogdanovic is really cheap. We've seen him go for 40s multiple times. Harry Giles seems to be in the trade rumors, and just a guy that playing about 18 minutes would be in a good spot, and maybe he sees a little bit more than that. Especially if Dedmon is ruled out, would be something we'd get even more interested in. But De'Aaron Fox, definitely. Bielitsa, some interest. Bogdan, some interest. If Dedmon plays, I like him a tad, but he healed a little. And maybe some Harry Giles. But De'Aaron Fox, I will have a lot of. I'll have a handful of 4-man and 5-man game stacks of this game. And I think you should too.
I agree. I love this game for game stacks. I like the King side as well. Assuming Dedmon is in, he's very cheap on FanDuel, but it's tough to play him over some of the other centers you have when you get one. On DraftKings at 4.7, the price isn't as good, but again, if he stays out of foul trouble, they're going to need him on the court. They refuse to play Giles more than 17 minutes. They want to trade him, all this stuff, but they refuse to play him more than 17 minutes, despite the fact that he smashes every time he gets it. Anyway, Bielitsa, I'm cool with him for tournaments as well. Harrison Barnes is a value option. He's been awful. His usage has been terrible, but he is playing mega minutes. So all these guys. Buddy Hield is coming off the bench, but his price has come down. I think if he's playing well, he will close. And the usage has been really high with him on a second unit. So I'm good with all of them. De'Aaron Fox, of course, is my favorite as well. Last game, Paulie, and then we'll take a little break ski. We got the San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Clippers. By the way, Nation, if you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Really helps us out, allows us to continue to do the dirty across America. In the world, really. We don't want to exclude those of you that are overseas and whatnot in Canada and all of them awesome-ass countries. So, don't want to hate. Pulling up the Spurs, we got a 228.5 total. Pretty high. Spurs are 9-point underdogs on the road. It was 9.5, down to 9. We heard a report today that the Spurs are not going to go crazy trying to trade a LaMarcus Aldridge, which is the perfect timing to trade his ass because you know how DFS shit works. Talk to me about the Spurs, bro.
Yeah, so it looks like DeJounte Murray is kind of getting into a rhythm at 5'2", and it should play relatively fast and probably close. Maybe the Clips pull away towards the end. I do like him. If this game does stay close, he's probably having a good game. LaMarcus Aldridge is too cheap, and you want to attack the Clippers with bigs. Our model likes Bryn Forbes. You want to get a couple percent to him. I'm cool with that. Derek White, I think, is interesting. Patty Mills, hedges against some decent exposure to DeJounte Murray. DeRozan feels too expensive, but if you want to game stack it, I'm all right with that. LMA, DeJounte Murray, probably the main guys I'm interested in on the Spurs.
Yeah, same thing for me. It's really Evans, Lee, Robinson, Glenn, Chris. Wow. Yeah, to me, it's Marcus Aldridge and DeJounte Murray as my primary two. DeRozan for game theory purposes, especially on FanDuel, where he's only 7,900. I'm interested. This is a homecoming for him going back to California, LA. So I'm good with it. But LaMarcus Aldridge, price is low, spot is awesome. DeJounte Murray's been in a rhythm, like you said. They may need him on the court more. They do prefer DeJounte Murray for defense. So if there are, being that he's starting, and there's situations where you get Lou Williams into the game, they may prefer to play him a little bit more today. So we'll see. It depends on how much they need shooting, because I know they prefer, that's really been the issue. They've pulled him out in offensive clutch situations and brought him back in for defense. So, but he has been in a rhythm. He's been playing well. We know he's the highest upside point guard they have. I'm cool with it for tournaments. Let's go over to the other side, Paulie. Talk to me about the Clippers.
Yeah, Clippers kind of fully healthy. This doesn't happen all that often, but when it does, it kind of makes it hard to like anything. Paul George's price is pretty cheap. I could see getting some shares of that. Maybe you want to take a dart on a Vika Zubac. Otherwise, I don't see it here today. I'm not into much on the Clippers with everybody around.
Yeah, I know, and that scares me, man, because last time they were the late game, and Kawhi ended up getting ruled out, and the game stayed close, and it was this whole big, heroin went nuts. It was just a shitty situation. But I am with you for assuming everybody is healthy. It's just tough, man. There's a lot of mouths to feed here. Which one do you take a shot on? I mean, on FanDuel, there's some guys like Lou Williams is 5'5". I'd be interested to take a shot, but nothing substantial. Montrezl Harrell would be a guy I would want in a good spot against the Spurs. But again, the usage in minutes aren't going to be as high. Paul George would be the one that you feel like you're getting a bargain on. You can assume and hope and pray that he gets 30 minutes, but we don't actually know. By the way, these Hornets are starting Dwayne Bacon at 3 today. Graham Rozier, Dwayne Bacon, Bridges, and Zeller is the starting lineup for the Hornets. Bacon's going to get some shots.
Hold up. Graham Rozier, Bacon,
Bridges, and Zeller.
Oh, okay.
That's what's happening on that. That's going to do it, Nation, for the game by game. We're going to take a little 5-10 minute break. We'll be back with the second half of the show, which is simply, just us going over, maybe even taking some questions if there's time, but really building our squads and waiting for more news to come out, because there's more news coming as we go. We'll talk about some of our reactions to some of the news we already had and whatnot. So don't go nowhere. We're just gonna be right on the stream. We're just gonna flip over to a little screen in the meantime, play some background music while we set up for round 2. So don't go nowhere. Hit the like button, guys. We appreciate y'all. We'll be right back doing Dirties Sevens long style.
What we do here is go back.
What up, nation? We are back with part 2 of the NBA Wise stream. CK013, Paulie D, Appreciate those of you who rocked out the first part of the show with us. I know it was a big slate today, 10 games. We got a lot to get through, Paulie. We have a lot of news that we just got. We got more potentially on the way. I got a lot of adjustments to make to our projections after we went through. I guess let's go through. I guess to start, let's go through some of the injuries first and talk about like the biggest impacts. That, you know what I'm saying, like what you think that means. Does that mean anything for you personally? Like, for instance, Aaron Holiday. That's like not so obvious of one. He's starting today. They've already said they're not going to be able to trade him. He was out. The coach said that him and McConnell, like, because everybody's healthy, one of them was going to be out of the rotation. He was going to play them matchup wise, but one of them was going to get pushed out of the rotation each night. Now, all of a sudden, Warren's out and Aaron Holiday is starting over his brother, Justin Holiday, who actually plays that position. What are your thoughts on him? What are your thoughts on that situation? Does it do anything for you at all?
I think they're going to roll Lamb down to the 3 and Holiday will start at the 2. But it doesn't do much for me. I like Malcolm Brogdon and I like Sabonis. Like, you know, you can get a little bit of Aaron Holiday, but I don't see him being the guy to like break the slate today. You know, I honestly would play Lamb over him as well.
Yeah.
You're muted.
To be honest, that was one of my first thoughts too, is that this has got to be good for Lamb because that was a candidate to come in. But I guess you guys still got McDermott. You still got Justin Holiday who will come in. But yeah, I would think in the end, Larry, we know Lamb has been kind of phased out. But also keep in mind, Oladipo's there to play up to 24 minutes. So I'm curious. Didn't do a ton for me either. Just was curious on your thoughts on the situation.
Yep.
We talked about Jeff Teague and how he's in the starting lineup. We got Young, Teague, Huerter, Collins, Jones. Anything changed for you at all there with that specific starting lineup?
I'm just going higher and higher on Trae Young as I look around the slate, think about like who's going to be the highest raw scorer, and like I think there's a very strong chance it's him. With Boston losing some of his better players, the game's more likely to be close. The game's got worse defensive players. Just all kind of adds up to like the game that he really thrives in. So, you know, like Trae Young a lot. I'm cool with Jeff Teague and Kevin Huerter and John Collins, but Trae Young's becoming one of my favorite plays in the league.
Real quick, Markieff Morris has been ruled out for Detroit. So he will not play. Mavs will start Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Kristaps Porzingis at center. Interesting.
Wait, say that again?
They're going to start Brunson, Hardaway, Finney-Smith, Kleber, and Porzingis. So no Cauley Stein starting.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just jump into those. You know, the one I wanted to ask you about, I know in between shows you were talking to me about Jacob Evans. Talk to me about Evans, him being in the starting lineup over Burks. They're playing Washington. Talk to me about how many minutes you think he's going to get. He's min price. Talk to me about Evans.
Yeah, let me do a quick research project on Jacob Evans. Joins the starting 5. Let's see if they give us any reasoning here. With D'Angelo unavailable due to Evans will join the starting lineup for the first time. When seeing 20 or more minutes this season, Evans is averaging 9.8 points, 2.4 rebounds, 1.6 assists. You know, Evans, like in the summer league, it was him and Jordan Poole who were just like automatic, you know, for 25 to 35 points, DraftKings points. He showed some signs last year coming off the bench in like blowout games. He was kind of the reason they shipped Patrick McCaw off, you know, and then he was injured most of the beginning of the year. So like we've just never really played him, but he's min price. And like Steve Kerr does this, like, you know, randomly start somebody like, you know, like Marquez Chris a week ago balled out, you know, like, I'm trying to find out if there's anything like, you know, when he started Jordan Bell when he was from Chicago, but he's a 6'6" guard from Baton Rouge, went to Cincinnati College, blah, blah, blah. I'm not seeing anything like narrative streetwise, but I envision him playing a lot. And, you know, I think the point you made, even though you didn't know who he was, about them wanting to guard Beal makes sense because he's 6'6", long. He is good defensively. And like Beal will be on the court for almost 40 minutes, which would put him on the court a lot. And like min price against Washington, I think he's going to go for like 25 or more DraftKings points today, giving you that 8x plus. And I don't think many people in the field are going to go to him. I think they'll go to like some of these Celtics, some of these other dudes around the industry around the same price. I'm seeing Alec Burks still projecting very high, and he's still probably fine, but he was a guy that shouldn't be traded. Maybe he is traded, and that's the reason that they're starting him. They just haven't announced the trade. And if Alec Burks wasn't in the picture, like, he'd be locked into even more minutes. So I just think that there's he's a good play anyway, and there's upside for him becoming like a smash play. And I'm going to play him quite a bit, just kind of make Trae Young fit. And I'm fairly confident he's going to do pretty well for us here today. What else?
Sure enough. Let's talk about Reggie. We'll talk about Markieff Morris in a second because Reggie Jackson is still a game time decision. We haven't heard on that, but let's talk about the Mavs. They're starting Brunson. Do you think he gets his 30 plus today? Is today the day he gets 30 plus? We got again Brunson, Hardaway, Finney-Smith, Kleber, Porzingis as a starting lineup. What do you envision?
I'll say yes because no Seth Curry. They're a little thinner, and we don't even know if JJ Barea is going to play. I think he will, but if he's not starting, it's probably because they saw he ran out of gas, and he really only has 20 minutes in him at this age. So it's got to be Brunson and Delon Wright and Tim Hardaway getting the bulk of the minutes, and like those are the guys that can score the ball. I don't think they'll close with the same lineup they started if this game stays close to the end because that is not a very high upside scoring lineup with all that defensive specialists out there. So yeah, I'm cool with Brunson, but the prices are up. Delon Wright's all right. Don't really have too much interest in JJ Barea. I'm all right with Tim Hardaway Jr. Porzingis is cool, but there's a lot of nice pivots off Porzingis as well. So I got.
Yep, no, I don't disagree. I'm gonna raise the minutes for Brunson, put him up to around 33 or so, because I think he's likely to. I mean, I don't understand how they don't. If we see it, they got to see it. That Brunson is clearly the best guy to run their offense when Luka's out. But I don't know. Again, nothing major because his price is up. But I'm not afraid to get some. But yeah, I don't have too much else different. Yeah, you were right. We got the starting lineup for the Pacers. It's Brogdon, Aaron Holiday, Lamb, Sabonis, and Turner. Let's talk about Markieff Morris then. Talk to me about Markieff Morris, then we'll talk about Tristan Thompson. But first, Markieff Morris.
Didn't you say Markieff is out?
What's that?
Didn't you say Markieff was
Yeah, that's
out?
what I'm saying. Him being out. Like, what does that do? 20 minutes on the second unit. Does Dembuka play like all of them? Does Christian Wood get some? Yeah. What are we doing here? Don Maker's been starting, right? Hasn't he been the one starting?
Yeah, I mean, Don Maker's irrelevant to me.
I know that.
But Sekou Doumbouya is very cheap, min price actually. And, he's got upside. When he played 34, 28 minutes, when he first started getting minutes, went for 32, 31. Getting paced way up. Definitely worth getting some exposure to. I mean, this team is thin. Like, how many active bodies do they even have now, right? Like, do we know about Reggie Jackson?
Game time decision.
Jesus. We know what Christian Wood can do when he gets minutes. Even if he's coming off the bench, I think he's still interesting. Just want to hear this Reggie Jackson news. But if Reggie gets ruled out too, they're going to be down to like 7 actual bodies. So, yeah.
Oh, they're thin.
They're all in play. Prices, yeah.
They are thin today. Tristan Thompson, are you going to load up on Nance, or do you think that Nance being a starter now is going to affect? First of all, how many minutes do you think he's going to play? You think he's going to play the 30 plus?
Like 30, 31-ish, something like that. I don't think he plays too much more, but that's probably enough to do. 20 minutes to lock, by the way, Nation.
And what are your thoughts on him?
Nance?
Nance in the pants. Do the dirty dance.
He's really just all right to me. I mean, the price is up. Like, if he got you a 30, you wouldn't be thrilled. That's not like a lock, but it's certainly a good matchup. And, he does have 40 in him. So we'll see. But I don't think he, separates from the pack a ton for me. You?
Nance, I mean, I do like him at that price. If I think he's going to get 30, because he's the most likely, I think, to get you that 40, because he's been doing it. Like, of guys in that price range, I mean. Like, we're talking about, like, Thomas Bryant's. We're talking about Robert Covington's. To me, I think he's got the best chance to go for 40 simply because he's done it recently. He's been playing really well in general. So, I do like Nance, as well as Love is going to make me like them more.
Yeah.
What's up?
Question, do you like Nance or Cantor more?
Well, they just announced that Cantor's going to be on a minute limit. They haven't said what that is, but they said he's going to be on a limit. For the purposes of ceiling, I'm going to say Nance because, if Boston goes to overtime, Cantor ain't getting that. You know what I mean? I mean, we're talking about a $1,300 price difference, so it's not exactly the same. But you don't necessarily need the overtime for Cantor at 4-3 on DraftKings. But, yeah, I'll let it play when you see him in the streets. You know how it is. What we got here? Oh boy. Let's see. I'm gonna dare I look in the chat. Let's start with the Ystream chat. See if there's any questions. No questions in the Ystream chat, but guys, if you're watching on the Ystream page, you could ask them there, and I will answer them in a second. Oh, interesting. Mr. OG DFS does say I believe Nance is on a minutes limit as well. It's possible. He hasn't played more than 26, so I guess it's possible.
Yeah, I think it's right.
Yeah, it might be.
No, I don't see it 30.
What's up?
I don't think he'll play more than 30.
So if that's the case, like if you don't think he's going to play that many minutes, like there could be more there. Like John Henson, for example, who's played well recently when he's gotten minutes. You don't want none of that.
Nope.
Not for you. Not you. Not you. Let me see here, Paulie. What do you think about Julius Randle?
The price is rough. I don't love the game, but he is my favorite, Nick.
Let's see. Is Alec Burks traded because I'm playing him? No, we don't know. We haven't heard he's traded. It's just a possibility because I know that they were trying to trade him before the deadline, but there's no we have not heard he's been traded. Here we go. I love Ja Morant. How come no one's talking about Ja Morant?
Well, he never really gets a ton of minutes, and he's really not shown massive consistency of upside. He's flashed a 45 or 50, but it's few and far between. I think today's a really good spot for him, but they're protective over him. Sick player, great player, but he doesn't run away from the pack. Yeah, for me, honestly.
Holla. I'm about to see what I'm getting here. Let me see what I'm working with. I feel like there's some stuff that we're still waiting on news on or something I have to update. Oh, yeah, I got to update Markieff Morris still. Okay. Reggie Jackson is a game time decision for, I know somebody asked in the chat as well. I guess with that said, Paulie, who are some of your favorite plays going into this? I know you haven't narrowed it down all the way. I'm sure you're still building your teams, but we've got a lot of value. You can pretty much do whatever you want today. It's just a matter of picking the guys you like the most, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Reggie Jackson's a huge factor for me. If he's in, I like him. If he's out, I love Bruce Brown. I like Trae Young quite a bit. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. 15 minutes to lock. Nash. Let me pull up a guide called The Cheat Sheet to remind myself. Oh, I like Jaren Jackson a lot in that same game. I like Malcolm Brogdon a lot. I like Jacob Evans, Karis LeVert, Aaron Fox, and Karl Anthony Towns, and Cody Zeller.
Holla at him hard. Holla at him hard. You know who also could benefit from Seth Curry's absence is Hardaway. That could lead to Hardaway. He's a little banged up, but like that could lead to him finally playing. You know, minutes.
Sure.
30.44. 30.44. It's possible. Ugly. It's possible. While I let that run, let's see. Connor says Morris is out. Markieff Morris, not Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris is playing. Markieff Morris is ruled out. Crazy Cook says, okay, by any chance, do you think Reggie Jackson sits or plays? That's to be just an opinion. We don't know. It's a very tough call because they're so short. If they were healthy, I'd say there's no way he plays if he's even questionable because he's coming back from an injury. But they don't have bodies. Like they could play Tim Frazier, so it is still possible. I don't know. What do you think? You have a hunch, like a guess either way?
I think he plays because they just don't have nobody else.
They just don't got the bodies.
It was probably a precautionary sit plan because he just came back from a long injury and they played the overtime. But I think at this point they need him, so I think he plays because he, can't.
How many minutes do you think, or how much? What I meant to say is how much Jeff Teague do you plan on playing?
I'd be willing to take like 25% or so. Because I like that game a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to argue. I mean, the fact that he's starting is big. He played 30 minutes in a blowout against Dallas. He shot 2 for 10, which is he's still Jeff Teague. That's good, it's good to know. You know what I mean? Doing dirties. We get more news coming on now? Nope, we got the Heat starting lineup. Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler, Robinson, Leonard, Adebayo. Starting lineup for the Miami Heat. Interesting. We will see it. Today is the day, nation. Today is the day. DraftKings has a nice, beautiful $4 donkey. A lot of people in it, but a lot of money up top, man. For those of you who are like, you can't max enter the 15 when it's $15 as part of the donkey. If you can't, today's the day. You can load up on it, take a shots today. I'm excited for this slate, man. I am excited for this slate. I would like to know why I'm getting so much. I'm getting a lot of Embiid. Like more than I expected. I'm good with Embiid. I'm just curious as to why I'm getting so much of them. Dirty style. Shout out to Stevie Brown, by the way. He did the show with us last time. He did a really good job, I thought. In that role. Roll call. Shout out to Downtown.
Except that he talked about Solomon Hill for 2.5 hours.
There was a lot of Solomon Hill talk. There was a lot of Solomon Hill talk going down that day. Ain't nobody doubt it. Ain't nobody doubt it. Nation. What the hell? Oh, man. This slate is just too big, man. There's just too many options. Spencer Dinwiddie will start for Kyrie Irving. No shit. That's the problem with them. They don't listen. Are you playing Karis LeVert?
Yeah,
of course you are. Why wouldn't you? It's just thug life, that's all.
What just happened? Like I went from getting 1 million Trae Young to no Trae Young. What is going on?
Man, I don't even know anymore. And these screets. You obviously touched something, though. Shoot. Let's talk about cash, bro. I know, that's more Stevie Brown's forte, but I'm curious. Give me like your top 3 cash game plays as of right now.
Malcolm Brogdon, Bruce Brown, Trae Young.
I like it. I'd even throw Jeff Teague in that mix now. They're just thin, bro. 3,900? 3,900? Not on FanDuel. On FanDuel, he's like 4 something. Don't need that shit. How much your boy Evans you gonna play?
Between 30 and 40%.
30 and 40. 30, 40, and 40, and 30. That's hard and long. Right there. You already knew that though, didn't you? 30 ass motherfucker. Shit. 3475. Where we at? We got 9 minutes to lock, nation. Something like that. 10 minutes to lock. 9. Oh dear. Shit. I gotta get this Markieff Morris situation situated right quick. Sixers will start Simmons, Milton, Harris, Horford, and Bede. Julius Randle, Marcus Morris will start. We already knew. They got to catch up. They got to catch up, though. Oh, boy. Man, I can't believe how short Detroit is and may end up being. They still got 2 players who are questionable between Reggie and Svi. It's wild. It's a wild world we live in. Oh, shit. It's a wild world we live in. Oh, shit. Shit. Detroit action. Damn. Bro, it's like, man, this is about to get crazy. Can't believe it. I have a feeling I'm going to end up getting a shit ton of Detroit right now.
I mean, they're getting the biggest pace upness and they're the most short-handed, so I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, no. They're also playing at one of the hotter teams in the league right now and are 9-point underdogs on the road. So there are scenarios.
But, like, even if they get smoked, like, they play Drummond when they're getting blown out. Like, who? Like, what? They don't got nobody. They got to just keep playing them.
That's true. They ain't got nobody. They got nobody. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. It's giving me, like, a ton of Drummond. Shit.
All right, NBA.
Shit. Slow your roll, little homie. 51.4.
I'm like capping Reggie because, like, you know, if he don't play, I'm like screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
80%, like half the slate's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yo, do you like Demboya at min price?
A little.
I mean, he is min price, right? Like,
a little.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Like, he probably will start, but like you said, there's Snell, there's Long Neck, and there's Wood.
Yep. It's true. I meant it when I said it too. Meant every word of it. Say cow. You know we do. Shit, we got like 6 minutes to lock, man. That's Crunch City time. Projections are updated. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna update it one more time before I lock. So they're ready to rock. If you are rocking with the nation, you are good to go. And then I'll keep updating them after when we hear news, just in case there's anything. We got a late swap too. You know what it is. Oh shit! I don't need that many. Shit. Here we go, nation. 5 minutes to lock. We're in the crunch. Ricky Rubio will start, so he is playing. Plays. All right, let's see what I'm getting right now. All right, now I'm not getting enough Drummond. What's up? Finding that balance, bro.
It's the key to life.
key to life from D, bro. All right, 4 minutes to lock, nation. Is that right? Yeah, 4 minutes to lock. All right. So this is it right here. Right here. This it right here. I am getting a lot of Trae Young too, and I'm cool with that. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go. Trae Young, do the dirty today. Do it hard.
And long. Man, you tell me this shit's gonna go slow again. I hate that shit. Let's be busy. It's a big slate. Everybody's trying to get down on the get down. I know how it is. I get it. It's just like one of those slates that are so big. I know I'm gonna end up not getting any exposure to someone that I thought this whole time that I did. But that's just the situation I'm in, and I'm just gonna rock with it. Have trust in my ability to do dirties. And I do need to know the Reggie Jackson shit too, bro. I'm getting like a ton of Reggie. It's like, we don't know if he's playing, bro. So I'll make some adjustments after. Luckily that game's after, so I can make those adjustments later. But what's it, like 3 games starting that were right, like early?
Yep.
3 minutes to lock, nation. Yeah, man, hurry up, bro. Still got 25 more teams. You're killing me, bro. This is like the 3-hour crunch right here, man. What's going on? Just don't look at it, that's all. Because then I'll just freak myself out with the... I hate this. This is so stressful when you're waiting for that. You know what I mean?
Just don't look at it.
That's all. Just don't look at it. Just look away. It's like when you're getting a shot at the doctor, they drawing blood. They tell you, don't look at it. Just don't look. And they're right.
Yeah.
They're right, bro. 3 minutes to lock. Come on. Almost there. It would be epic if there was injury news for a 7 o'clock game. Right now, that would be epic because that just took me 20 minutes to do 150 teams like that. That would be
that'd be death.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Death squad. All right, so I'm uploaded. I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm uploaded. We've had some scares in the past, bro. We do the stream late for the nation. We do it like this for the nation. LeVert in the starting lineup. Oh shit.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Play him.
Oh yeah.
Play him.
Let me just confirm. Confirm because I just saw somebody in the Slack say it. Yep, LeVert is starting at the 2. Let's go. Hard and long. LeVert, I'm doing it. Is that game first? Don't tell me no, right?
I have no idea.
Better not be. I'll fucking do some dirties to someone. I'm about to do this. Let me check right now. No, the game's at 7:30. Holla! We got time. We good. We're gonna get that in. Caris LeVert in the starting lineup. Let's go. LeVert.
Got him. All of them in. Nice. Yo, the big dance. I fucked around. I mean, I did have the dummy team in right with all the later shit. I just, I would have missed the first 3 games. I don't even know which ones those are. That was pressure packed. But play a lot of Caris LeVert. He's gonna do the dirty if he's starting. We got to find out about Reggie Jackson. That's it. Let's go.
That's it. That's how we gonna do this, though. Yeah, I'm redoing it now. I'm gonna have to do some late swap action because this isn't gonna finish by the lock. So I'll go back in and do some late swap. Get LeVert wherever you can. Especially on FanDuel. He's 4-1 on FanDuel, so you don't got late swap. Hopefully you're able to make that work. But assuming that they're gonna start, assuming he's in this role, I'm assuming they're gonna let him play. So that's it. We are at Lock Nation. That is gonna do it for this edition. We appreciate those of you who are new that were joining us. Please hit the like button before you go. We are gonna do the dirty as always. If there's any screenshots, hit us up on Twitter. We like to see them, man. We like to see them for sure. I do like Brunson. I see somebody there. I do like Brunson. Paulie, anything to close before we get out of here, bro?
Yeah, Trae Young, Caris LeVert, Bruce Brown, and Reggie Jackson if he plays. Get some. Yum,
there
yum.
You go. I love it. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.